Hey guys, so welcome back to another episode review of Love is Blind UK Season 2. So I'm just going to get straight into it because we have some juicy stuff this episode, including the reunion. Okay, so I wanted to start off with Barda and Jed. And in my last review, I basically said, I mentioned the part about Barda's friend, Olivia, who was very protective, and she is just concerned because she's seen her friend go through many relationships and she just wants to know that this is real and wants her friend to be realistic. Her friend was insinuating that, oh, this is just too good to be true. And so Barda's like, well, why can't this be good and true? So Barda has a lot of faith in her relationship. And from what I've seen so far, I mean, so far so good. There really wasn't much on them this episode, so we're just going to move on. So next we're going to talk about Sarover and Cal. And Sarover is very stressed out. Her mom has been bombarding her, messaging her, and she basically says that she has never been problematic for her family and has always just kind of done what they've expected. So now that she's not, her family is basically, they see this as like either rebellion or like just this really crazy thing, which I think could be crazy to anyone. But I think maybe for Sarover, it's more of a like, I'm finally doing something for myself. Why can't you support me? But I don't think she's seeing that like, this is a crazy situation for anyone. I don't think her family's being like crazy about this, to be honest. But you know, I will respect her feelings. And she is basically saying that she's gonna put herself first and just trying to navigate. She says she's never stood up for her mom before, but she feels like she's in a pressure cooker. Like I think that's how much stress she's feeling over the whole situation. I feel really bad for her because I know she just wants some support from her family, and I think it's hard because they haven't even met yet. So I think that's understandable, and I think they just need to meet already. I think this whole dancing back and forth, it's the 7th episode and they're still doing this. So I think they need to meet ASAP. So next is Ashley and Billy. And so they sit down and they have a conversation about what happened at the store with the food. Ashley tells Billy that she was overwhelmed with how Billy talks about food, and she kind of opened up about her childhood and how she used to be called a beanpole and that food basically helped her. So she doesn't want to feel guilty about having sweets. Billy, to his credit, says that he doesn't want her to feel guilty, and I thought that was very sweet of him. Ashley essentially wants Billy to be less routine-like. I think she just wants him to be able to go with the flow with her and not like, I think Ashley just doesn't want to feel regulated. Like, I think Billy thrives on a routine and Ashley just doesn't like that lifestyle. I wonder if that will continue to be like a point of contention for them both. So basically they're open to both working on it, so that's kind of how that situation ends. And then they go and meet Billy's dad, and it's crazy because why did Billy's dad say that Billy specifically said that he did not want to meet someone who did cabin crew, which I'm assuming is just like a flight attendant? Like, that's very specific. Like, that part really stuck out to me. Like, it's giving Billy dated a flight attendant before. Like, that's not something you just randomly say. Like, oh, as long as she's not cabin crew. Like, who says that? That's like me going on a dating show and just being like, oh, as long as he's not a pilot. Like, that's so random. But anyways, so his dad is basically very concerned and he thinks that that might be a problem. And I mean, I don't blame him, especially when your son was very specific about that and then goes and finds that exact thing. Billy says that they will make their crazy schedules work, but we'll see. So moving on to Megan and Kieran, and I thought it was really cute. They were doing like this little dance to have at their wedding. I thought that was adorable. I guess Megan has been dancing since she was 3, which, wow, she's a really great dancer, and it was cute watching Kieran trying to keep up with her. Really sweet conversation where Megan talked about how it's natural and easy with you, and Kieran said that life starts at marriage. So I think they're very optimistic and they're very hopeful, but I kind of wonder if they're romanticizing their marriage. I wonder if they just both really want something to work. I wonder if they would be this way no matter who it was, essentially. Like, they're just excited about the idea of marriage itself. I mean, they do seem like they really like each other, but like, that is kind of a concern of mine, so we'll see. So obviously the show isn't going to show us every single thing that they talk about, but their conversations so far have seemed kind of surface level compared to the other couples, I would say. But like I said, I'm sure they're not showing everything, so we'll find out more. So for our next couple, Katisha and Javen, or Javen, they go to Javen's house, and Katisha says that she feels like they're in a good place, even though Javen isn't vulnerable, which I didn't understand that. I don't understand how you can crave that vulnerability from your partner and he's not giving it to you, but you're still in a good place. It feels delusional to me. And going around his apartment, their vibes together seemed very weird to me. Like it felt like first date kind of awkward. Like I don't see chemistry between them. I just don't. So Katisha mentioned something about having dinner together every night, and Javen is basically like, sorry, I work late 4 days a week. And Katisha's like, well, I go to bed a little later, so that's fine. Like, essentially, I'll still see you in the evening, whatever. And he's just like, oh, well, I go to bed early at 10, which I feel like 10 isn't that early, but I feel like that's a decent bedtime. And to me, I felt like he was just writing her off, like, immediately, just like, well, I work late, like, it just felt like he was just, like, crushing her dreams, like, he was just crushing her expectations. And then he says something, he says, promise is a comfort to a fool, and that he's not promising her that he's gonna try to have dinner with her. Like, promise is a comfort to a fool. Just say you're not gonna follow up with the things you say. Just say that. You're basically calling her a fool. You're the weirdo, Javen. You are. So, anyways, I really don't like him, as you can tell. Then Katisha meets Javen's mom and his sister, and they were very sweet. And then we come to find out that his sister is actually engaged, and she has been planning a wedding for the last 14 months. So she is shocked when she finds out that they're engaged and they're getting married soon. I think she is feeling the weight of how rushed this decision is. And I think that Javen is gonna feel that too. I think he's already feeling it, but I think that having that perspective from his sister is gonna even amplify whatever he's feeling. The sister asked them, what makes you guys compatible? And all I really got from that conversation was them saying family values. Like, that's it. I'm sorry, family values is not enough to sustain a relationship. That was crazy to me. Like, family values, anything else? And, like, granted, that conversation could have been longer in real life, but that's it, family values. Katisha's talking to the sister, and she asks, hey, has he, like, brought his walls down? And Katisha basically says no. And, I mean, we can see that. And even the sister says, like, oh, Javen smiles a lot, and it's hard to know how he's feeling. Like, he basically hides his emotions, and that's pretty obvious. Like, his demeanor to me speaks very loudly, and, like, I can see how he's feeling, honestly. I don't know if that's because, like, I read into people's emotions. Like, I don't know, I just feel very sensitive to that. Like, I can tell, like, little shifts in, like, body language and tone and everything, And, like, I can see how Javen's feeling. It's weird. Like, I don't know, the vibes. I can just pick up the vibes. And so it's like, it's kind of obvious. But, I'm gonna keep going. And then, okay, one part that I was like, was the sister said that Javen had his dreams crushed. And that's why his walls are up. And, like, there was no elaboration to it. Like, what? What do you mean his dreams were crushed? Like, I know he was playing a sport. I think it was soccer. So I'm assuming his injury to that is, like, what crushed his dream. But, like, life doesn't always go as planned. You reroute and you keep going. Like, you don't just sit on the, oh, I could have been famous. I could have done this. I could have done that. And you could easily not. And clearly you haven't. So move on. Like, I hate that people, like, women always find excuses for men, and, like, I'm not exempt from that. I've done that so many times. Like, we need to stop making excuses for other people. His walls are up because he's not emotionally mature, in my opinion. He does not seem to be able to speak his mind, talk about his feelings, anything like that. Like, he's not marriage material. He's just not. He got his dreams crushed. Okay. Anyways, so it's time for the reunion. We have a snippet of Kieran talking to Javen and asking about the whole I love you thing. And Javen basically says that he's not in love. A big surprise, right? Katisha interrupts their conversation and just says like, oh, well, I know what I want. So then Patrick and Anu show up, and Anu is very cocky. Like, she downplays Patrick basically and just says that he's underwhelming. Like, I felt like she was just snubbing him. They actually had a talk, which was more like an argument. I feel like her ego got hurt and she just couldn't let that go. Like, she just had to go off on him and like set him in his place. Like, that's kind of the vibe I got from that. Patrick basically told her that like he just got friendship vibes from her, and she said that he blindsided her, and I don't see how, when literally the episode that I reviewed, when he wanted her to sing, he was like being very forward and being very like open, receptive to the conversation and to her, and she just wasn't. Like, it was so clear. And then it took a whole other meeting for her to be like, oh, you know, let me sing for you, let me do this. And he, at that point, he had already caught the vibes from the last time, and he wasn't feeling it anymore. So how was she blindsided? I don't understand that. You give out this energy and then you get it back, and then, oh, I'm blindsided. Like, girl, like, I think Anu did not take responsibility for her own part in that. I honestly thought Anu was very dramatic, and she was all cozying up with Javen too at some point. Like, honestly, I don't really like her either. I don't like her personality. I don't think me and her would get along in real life, which that's not what I've been basing my like reviews on them about whether I would get along with them or not. But it's just the fact that the way she treated Patrick and literally ignored him when she came in, I don't know, she just gives mean girl vibes in my opinion. I definitely don't think her and Patrick would have worked out for sure, so I'm glad that they didn't go any further in the pods. So then Damola and Javin have a chat, and Damola, I was shocked because Damola seemed very like kind and like understanding in his chat with Katisha, and then it's like he goes and talks to Javen and like he bros out, like he just acts as if like they didn't come to a resolution themselves. And he talks about how he would be worried if he was Javen that like she would just change her mind, insinuating that like, can she even commit to you at the altar because of her not choosing you, Damola? Be for real. Like, that to me was like, Damola's personality like kind of showed in that moment. Like, I was like, that's who you really are. I think Javen is very easily influenced, and I think he would rather believe the bad remarks about Katisha, or like that narrative of Katisha from Damola, because it makes him feel better about him not wanting to be with Katisha. Like, no, Javen, just stand on the fact that you don't want to be with her and move on. Just giving weird, this whole situation. There's a clip of Sophie saying that she didn't see Katisha and Javen as a couple, and then she goes on to say, oh, but I wish them well, blah, 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 blah. Sophie, girl. Sophie is giving that she is male-centered, because Sophie and Kieran had a chat, and Kieran was being very respectful and very nice, and he was just like, hey, you know, maybe I shouldn't have given that, like, when I gave that gift to Megan, like, I didn't mean to make you feel any type of way, and I apologize. And I don't think he had anything to apologize over, but he still did. And then Sophie says something about how like, oh, I just don't deal with rejection in real life. So like, girl, stop it. Like, you are beautiful, don't get me wrong. Sophie's a very beautiful girl, but don't be cocky, Sophie. Like, the whole point of Love is Blind is that you get to know someone outside of their looks, and he didn't choose you. So take that as you will. Sophie tries to just say like, oh, she's been over it, and that talk was just closure for Kieran. No, I don't think Kieran even cared to have that conversation. I think he felt obligated to. And then a really weird part to me was when Kieran went back to Megan and was like, yeah, I'm just confused because she acted the same way as she did in the pods, kind of insinuating that Megan had been telling him other things about Sophie that he just didn't agree with. Basically like, oh, well, she's the same still. Like, I think girls are different around other girls, okay? The way Sophie is with you in that like short time you had that conversation, she's not gonna reveal all her bad colors and her bad habits and her attitudes that she had in the pod that Megan experienced. And I feel like we didn't even see everything that Megan experienced from Sophie, because Megan seemed very upset like when Kieran said that. I think Kieran is like delusional for thinking like, oh, I got the true version of her just now. Like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. There might be a small portion of herself that she shows to other people. And then, so this whole time, Javen has had wandering eyes. He's been looking at everyone coming in, and he pulls Sophie for a chat, and they're just sitting there at the bar, like, straight flirting. Like, it was uncomfortable to watch, and they both looked very drunk, just laughing it up. At one point, Sophie mentions that she lives 5 minutes away, and like Javen is just staring at her. Like, it's like he's giving her like this unspoken cue of like, hey, I want you. And then later, Sophie's like, you know, what do you want from me? And then Javen's like, nothing right now. Like, you snake. Like, I knew you were not loyal. You do not like Katisha. Like, enough of this already. Like, enough of this already. Just end it. Like, it's annoying me that he's still on the show. And Katisha is delusional if he thinks that that man likes her. I think she's just holding on to it. Like, Katisha, that, let him go. He's not yours. Let him go. Javen seems to think that him and Sophie still have more to unpack. I don't see how. I don't think we even saw much of their conversations in the pod. Seems like he just thinks she's hot. He doesn't like Katisha. He wants to see what Sophie got going on. Like, be real. He's so fake. And then there was a clip of Katisha saying, if you can take my man, you can have him. And period, girl. Period. Like, a man having wandering eyes is not your problem. Like, I'm sorry, it's not. Let him go. If he can be took, let him be taken. If he can be took, he not my man. Like, yes, Katisha, I hope she keeps that energy. Like, Javen is like sucking her dry. Like, she does not look happy at all. She doesn't look happy. And then they go home, and Katisha asks what him and Sophie were talking about. And then Javen just says that him and Sophie had good banter. And he like quickly changes the subject, doesn't even like lean into what him and Sophie were talking about, even though it seems like they were talking for a long time. And then he said that the talk with Damola was interesting. Katisha basically asks him how, and Javen again says some weird shit. He says, in the way that I was intrigued to know. Like, he just shut her down and said nothing at the same time. What does that even mean? What does that mean, Javen? I would be so miserable being around him. He seems like a lot to handle. This man is not ready for marriage. This man isn't even ready for a relationship. And then Katisha is like clearly upset, and she says, I'm gonna go to bed. She gives him a kiss, and she goes and lays down, and she looks very upset. And then there goes Javen on his phone, texting someone, and then calls and is like, I'm going out. Like, he does not care about her. He doesn't care about her at all. Like, you were just drunk at this reunion. You were clearly drunk. The way he was giggling at the bar with Sophie, please. And he's gonna go out again? I'm just gonna take a guess and say Sophie's gonna be there too. Wherever he's going, Sophie's gonna be there. And then he goes in the room and he's like, oh, you're not gonna go out? Like, she just said she's going to bed. She's upset. She's clearly upset. And he still leaves. He doesn't care. And the episode ends with Katisha crying, and I felt so bad for her, but girl, the signs are there. He doesn't like you. You like him more than he likes you. I don't think he likes you at all. That's the note I gotta end on. The other couples, I feel like we barely had any information on them this episode. It's just the drama with Katisha and Javen, and he just needs to let her go. I'm sure they're keeping them for the drama, but it's just sad to see. Katisha just wants it to work, and Javen's not even trying. I'll have to come back and give you guys the episode 8 recap. It's like so depressing to watch it at this point. It's just like, they're just still going down. It's like the roller coaster hasn't crashed yet. It hasn't had a crash landing yet, but it's painful. You see it, everyone sees it, and it's just... Alright, bye guys. Come back next time and see the next episode recap. We're getting closer and closer to the weddings, and then I think the reunion is like coming out soon. I still haven't finished that episode, so I'm gonna try to hurry up and watch that. But yeah, so see you next time.